came from different parts of the country to take part in a rally in central London to highlight the plight of minorities in Pakistan. They say the country's blasphemy law is grossly unfair and is designed to persecute non-Muslims. The protest was held to coincide with the anniversary of a massacre in the village of Gojra in Pakistan's Punjab province, in which 8 Christians were killed. Homes were set alight after days of unrest and violence, following reports that the Holy Koran had been desecrated. The British Pakistani Christian Association, which helped to organise the march, says there are countless horrific incidents of people suffering because of the blasphemy law, which they say is widely open to abuse.
To be honest with you, this kind of campaign is never going to be a one-hit wonder. It's always going to be a concentrated, long-term project. We're hoping over the coming years that what we will see is a gradual repeal of the blasphemy law, but also that we'll see steps along the way towards that process. And we're starting to see something of a movement even now, which I'm pleased about.
Those from various faiths marched with petitions to the Pakistani High Commission and 10 Downing Street.
There's no saying that, oppression is the essence of power. And the message I want to bring to people today is that power does not take a step back, unless it's faced with power. What we have to do is get all these small organisations together and fight as one. There's an awful lot of small individual groups and organisations working very hard and working themselves into the ground, but they're not unifying under one umbrella.
Many of the protesters still have close links with their home country.
We can cry aloud, as much we can say, as much we can converse, and as much we can tell is not sufficient to announce the problems that are prevalent in Christians in Pakistan at the moment. The enormity of the problems of Christians in Pakistan has got to be seen and experienced to be believed.
The British Prime Minister's trip to India and his comments about Pakistan's approach to tackling terrorism made headlines around the world. There are many who believe David Cameron should put pressure on the Pakistani government to stop what they call blatant discrimination against minorities.
Why are we not jumping at this opportunity to say to our Prime Minister, we've got our issues. You're giving billions of our pounds, our taxpayers' money, to the Pakistan government to support them with their infrastructure and their army. Apparently, more of the army has died than the British Army during this last 10-year period. But it's still our money. It doesn't matter what the conditions are, but if one of those conditions can be that the minorities in Pakistan are not oppressed, great, we achieve something from that. And that's the only way we'll achieve it. While the iron is hot, we have to strike.
The rally was led by the former Bishop of Rochester, the Right Reverend Michael Nazir Ali. He says the Prime Minister should raise his concerns about the blasphemy law when he meets President Zardari.
The more it is known in international circles, the more pressure there will be for the government of Pakistan to make some changes for the better. My message to President Zardari, as I have said to him face to face, is that bad laws will always come back to haunt a nation, and we must have laws that are based on justice, fair play and equity.
His views were echoed by the MEP Jean Lambert.
Ideally, I would like to see the blasphemy law taken off the statute books. I think what we may see in the very near future is at least reforms to the blasphemy law. And what I would also like to see is that people on the ground in Pakistan stop using the blasphemy law as an excuse for taking the law into their own hands.
Around 100 people turned up for the event. Organisers say they're doing their best to raise awareness about the problem.
I think with Pakistani Christians it's very hard for, we've always been a very disparate nation. We're very divided. Obviously Christians in Pakistan don't have major communities, they're all dispersed all over the country, but in the same token we easily absorb into Western culture. We go to Western churches. Some of us aren't associated with the Pakistani Christian fellowships, so as such they may not even have heard about this protest or know about the concerns. It's not, the information about the suffering of Pakistani Christians isn't as widespread in the Christian community in its entirety, the black churches, the white churches, as it could be. And that's something that we're trying to slowly raise the profile for.
This is the second rally of its kind to be held this year. Organisers are hopeful that the suffering of millions simply because of their beliefs will soon end. This is Pukaar News in London.